The gospel is not deciding to follow Jesus. Why is it that none of these modern churches and these big churches, why do they never like to use the phrase being born again anymore? Well, people just don't know what being born again means. That terminology is so outdated. Well, that's what Jesus said, except a man be born again. Why do we got to make all this terminology? Well, he dedicated his life to Christ. Now, if you want to talk about that kind of stuff about after a man gets saved, go ahead. Oh, after you get saved, you ought to commit your life. You ought to decide to follow Jesus. You ought to dedicate your life. That's why I don't like that terminology. We had 5 people rededicate. They rededicated. And what that means is they were saved, but they got back right with the Lord. That implies that when they got saved, they dedicated themselves in order to get saved. And now they're rededicated. You want to talk about somebody getting right with God? That's all fine. But I don't like terminology. Now listen, I'm not saying that these churches that use that terminology are evil and they're full of the devil. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is you better be real careful about that kind of stuff because it perverts the gospel.